Mirror of Black.
Yes! Let's dive in. It's kind of hard not to spoil things, so I think from here on out, just expect spoilers. But starting off the bat, I think for those of you who don't know anything about Black Mirror, first of all, I'd definitely say it's worth your time. It's a very interesting show. Some seasons are better than others. A breakdown of the show, it's kind of an anthology series where each episode is its own kind of story that showcases how technology can affect society in negative ways most of the time. There's such different stories that there's something for everyone. It's been likened to a modern day Twilight Zone. Do you want to do episode by episode and just kind of talk each one?
Sure.
All right, so episode 1, starring Rashida Jones, Chris O'Dowd. I like this one.
Yeah.
It felt like Black Mirror, at its core. Really eerie and dark and just kind of a real sad, somber feeling the whole time.
It's depressing and also just like infuriating, which I thought was kind of funny because the show's on Netflix. And I'm like, isn't Netflix doing
the same thing?
Oh, if you don't want ads, you got to pay extra here. It's kind of making fun of those type of things.
Yeah, but with someone's life at stake.
Yeah. I mean, it's very engaging. The whole episode, you're interesting premise here, and obviously you feel bad for him. And it is pretty depressing and sad.
I think it helps that it has some of the best cast. They're just really great in it. I thought it was going to go the route where the husband, since they can't afford her subscription, he does go online and does like crazy stuff for money and then gets fired, so it's kind of a downward spiral. And I'm glad it didn't go in that direction too far, because we've seen movies and shows. There's a movie called 13 Sins where that happens. I'm glad it focused more on the relationship between him and Rashida Jones. The part that really just kind of broke me was they're trying for a kid too, and they haven't had luck for a number of reasons. And it gets to a point where they need to sell some stuff in order to pay for her to be alive, essentially. And he sells her their crib that they built in hoping to have a son or a daughter. And they sell it to a young couple, and he's like, good luck on when's the baby due? And the couple's like, oh, we're just going to burn this for a music video. I was like, oh, jeez, And the look on his face, he's disheveled, he's got a tooth that he pulled out for money. And I was just like, gosh, dang it. And that's what I think Black Mirror is about, where you get to see these people in the lowest parts of their life, and because of technology, what these advancements have done. So that's why I liked about this one. This one was Return to Form. I really liked it. Moving on, I don't know how to pronounce this one, so I'm not going to.
Fair enough. I'll just guess what it is then.
The one where it's a anti/pro bullying PSA.
Is this the gaslighting one?
Yeah. So there's a woman who's working at a chocolate bar factory or chocolate bar headquarters.
I guess so, yeah.
Her old classmate comes in, and her old classmate was the victim of bullying. There's subtle little things that happen between the main chick and her old classmate where reality's changing, She says, hey, this restaurant was named Barney's. And then they go look it up and say, hey, it's Bernie's. And so she's losing her mind a little bit. Sorry, explaining it, I'm like, this isn't very good. But I didn't really like it. So essentially, you find out that the main lady used to bully the newcomer, and the newcomer was like this super genius girl, and she invented this device that lets her speak into it, and anything she says becomes reality. She gets revenge on her high school bully, tortures her, and messes with the girls who messed with her in high school. And I was like, really? You got a cool idea, and that's what you did with it,
Yeah.
I feel like it was wasted potential.
That's a theme for a couple of these episodes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one I didn't love, and I didn't like the ending either.
Oh, goodness.
It ends with her, I'm the Empress of the World, and it does this cheesy looking, everyone hailing
the Empress
her.
of the green screen, more like it.
Not that great for me.
Yeah, definitely lower tier. Moving on, the hotel one. Hotel Riviera or something like that. What, you didn't like it?
No. This was the same type of thing, because this one is longer, because most of them are 45 minutes, 40 minutes, but this one was an hour 20.
Yeah, you felt it.
It's a pretty interesting concept, because it starts off, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, because she's in there, and they're obviously AI, but they react how people would, they're programmed to, and they can kind of go off script, and you're like, all right, this is kind of interesting. But they go into just a love story between her and the main character. Actress. Not really exciting, and the pretty boring parts throughout. And yeah, this one was my least favorite, I'd say, of the whole series.
Like you said, the main actress, she's not a bad actress, but the way they did it here, it's she's portraying someone who's not a great actress, and that's very evident in the way she does things, where it's okay, you were a Broadway actress and stuff, so why are you so bad in this? And there was way too much exposition. Like, so much explaining happening where they're like, the nerds at the computer were like, story arc engaging, attraction levels increasing. And I'm like, I don't, I can see that there's attraction levels.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me every 5 seconds. And I think the best episodes of Black Mirror are the ones where the technology doesn't have to be spoon-fed to you, where I'm like, I get it. I can see what's going on. You don't have to. It just seemed very contrived where like, oh, it spilled the coffee on the thing, and do it in an Interstellar where, 1 second here is like an hour or so up there. And I just didn't, because there's a part where the main actress, she goes outside in like the void and she gets uploaded all the actress's consciousness. It doesn't really hold water. And it's super weird. It just is like, oh, this happens because technology. You're like, okay, sure. And it's really hard to care about their love story because they were there for like a few months when you think about it. Mm-hmm. So like they had this summer fling, and the ending ends really stupid and bad, and I didn't like it. Main lady gets out of there, and Dorothy's stuck there. And in the end, she gets to call on a phone and look at her in the laptop whenever she wants. And I'm like, that's not a good ending, because what happens to that actress? She's just stuck there. You got a slave here now. So it's not a happy ending. No. It's not fun. I didn't like it. It was one of my least favorites.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Playthings. This one. You know the 2 words I'm going to say? Fair enough.
Fair enough. Oh. Yeah.
Will Poulter's back, baby.
I couldn't remember, because obviously I remember him in Bandersnatch, but I haven't seen that in 8 years or whenever it came out. Yeah. What did he do in that movie again?
I don't remember that one too well. That was an experimental one where it's like choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Didn't really resonate with me, but he was the one who made the video game, and he was the video game nerd who's like, I love video games.
I just remember telling him to jump off the cliff, and fair enough.
Yeah. This one's like a sequel sidequel to that one. And
prequel to mine. He's died in my Bandersnatch.
Oh, spoiler alert.
In mine.
But yeah, it's got Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who, Lewis Gribben. He plays the younger Peter Capaldi. This one was interesting until it wasn't for me. Did you like it? Was it middle for you?
It wasn't bad. I liked the whole AI little minions kind of getting smarter and all that. But then, at the end, it kind of breaks its water, if I may say that.
Yeah.
An old saying where he's like, they take over and they hack the cell phones and they make everyone pass out.
It would either be better if it cut like 5 minutes before that, or give me like 10 minutes more. I needed more explanation as to, are these beings like good? Because the ending, it's like, okay, is everyone dead? Did the lemmings take over the bodies, or are they a hive mind? Like, what is this? Or it should just end it as like, is he crazy? Is he actually, Mm-hmm. Either one of those would have worked. I did like the storytelling device where he's in the interrogation room telling his story. I like that kind of.
I like that, but it was not really necessary because all he needed to do was show the camera the little symbol thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, why go
then
through
there would have been a 10-minute.
I know. I'm just like,
yeah.
That's why I didn't like the ending, where I was like, if you would have used for like something that made more sense versus like, I'm just going to tell this for the episode, and then at the end, all I got to do is show this symbol, and doesn't matter if they're taking over everything. I felt the emotion when the friend was playing on the computer and smashing all the guys. I was like, stop it. Leave that man alone.
Yeah. See, and I'm that guy in video games. I'm like, yeah, look at these things burn. I thought it was really funny. There's a montage of him throughout the years. He spends decades, talking to these little lemmings and upgrading his systems to make more space and everything. And this is how you know the writers or someone doesn't really understand upgrading. Because he goes to the video game store, and throughout the years he gets a Sega Genesis, he gets a Dreamcast, a PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and I'm like, no, those aren't the things that you need to quote upgrade.
What do you know?
I guess, yeah, but I'm like, what product placement can we incorporate here?
Yeah, it was kind of fun seeing all the video games. I'm like, hey, I played Wolfenstein, I played Road Rash, I recognize that game.
Yeah,
thought it was a fine episode.
I think it was pretty good. Upper tier for me. Moving on, Eulogy. Paul Giamatti, he's back, baby.
Yeah.
Giving it everything he's got, I tell you what. Essentially, he gets contacted from a company that says, hey, we're trying to put together some memories of this woman who died. We understand that you knew her. So they put on the little temple thing, and then they use the technology to go through some old photos and memories of him to make a memorial for her. And I think this one was the best use of like how this kind of technology would be used in our real world. I like that it wasn't like the main focus of it, but it was like a vehicle to tell the story. It didn't need overly exposition about the technology. Like, oh, okay, he's walking in the photo. I get it. And they had some really cool moments about that where he's looking at the photo. In the photo's perspective, the woman's facing away from him. And when he goes in there, he turns to her and he can't see her face because, it can't generate that. So you see like, a few polygons and stuff. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. It all comes back to at the end, you find out that the reason they're doing is the daughter was her. And so maybe she had like a specific, I want you to remember your memories with her. So it's like different than what other people's would have been, I really like this one. Our memories are different than the truth sometimes. And the ending I thought was really good. Goes to the funeral and we find out that Paul Giamatti's girlfriend didn't abandon him. He just didn't get the letter that she left him. And for 35 or whatever years, he was carrying that hate. And at the end, it could be perceived in two different ways where he's sitting at the door, not going in, but it could be said that, oh, he's regrets not having gotten that letter, and so it's like a somber note, or he's happy that he finally knows the truth that, she did love him. So it's like, it could go either way how you look at it. But I thought this one was definitely the most dramatic, heart-wrench, gut-wrenching, just made me kind of choke up a couple of times there. But
I didn't really like this one, just to be a devil's ad here. But,
sure, you're a devil.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of boring as well. It was interesting with the technology like a Black Mirror, but I prefer the ones with a little more action. A little more interest.
Well, then I bet you loved the USS Callister.
You bet I did.
Sequel. Oh, boy. All right. Let's dig in. What do you like about it?
Well, I like the first one a lot. This is the first sequel, right?
Yeah.
I think this one I like more than the first US Callister.
I've heard that a lot, yeah.
Basically, they're in a video. It's like Spy Kids 3D, basically. Where
exactly,
they're in the game. If they die, they die here. And stakes are high, and then you get our boy Jesse Plemons shows up creepy as ever. Just when you think he's going to be a good boy for half a second, he changes his mind. It's intense. This one has a lot of good references throughout. So you got Boyle. They find out he's actually still in the game somewhere, and they find him, and he's kind of doing his Castaway. He's got his own little Wilson Rocky
with some modifications.
Yeah. She's talking to Jesse Plemons, and he's like, if you can either go transfer into your real life body because it's in a coma, or you can save your friends that are on the ship here, but you can't do both. And he's holding like a red disc and a green disc, kind of like the red pill, blue pill. And then he's like, actually, there's a way you can do both. And it turns into the blue. Like, a little Matrix here.
Ooh, yeah. I don't quite remember the first USS Callister. I remember having a good time because I was like, this is funny. They had some really good moments. I feel like this one, it's a good episode, and I like it as a sequel because I liked that world, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like a Black Mirror episode, Insofar as I like my Black Mirrors, where at the end you're just like, dang, I'm a bit depressed now, This one had more of a, not uplifting, it was more
so you
positive.
You liked the depressing at the end.
I like being depressed, Chris.
All right, fair enough.
I think that was the hook of the show. The early episodes, early seasons, every episode was like, dang, man, I think it would have been interesting if instead of, because at the end, they do a Inside Out.
Yeah.
Where her buddies are in her head, I think before they had the fun ending, it should have cut where she's looking at the mirror and they see her in her head, and it should have cut to black and be like, well, dang, now you're stuck in here. So that would have been more somber. And I wonder if they're going to make another one of this, because there's room to grow in this series.
Yeah. I remember hearing a year or so ago that they were talking about doing a show on this, but I think they ended up just doing an episode. So we'll see.
I think it could have been a good show. There's a lot to like in here, a lot of good cameos, like you said. I was convinced for the first few minutes, Jesse Plemons, I was like, that de-aging is really good. And then I was like, that's just him. He's aging backwards. He looks great.
On that Ozempic.
Yeah. Where do you get that stuff? He looks great.
Yeah.
He was great in this, as always, not in a bad thing. Like you said, Jimmy Simpson, McPoyle. There's a few really funny moments where they find out who's in charge or who's behind the no gamer tag thing. And he's like, Nate, it's Nate. Who's Nate? It's he doesn't know anything about anyone. He's just this self-absorbed CEO. And I was like, that's great. He played it really well. Definitely the top tier of this season. In your mind, what's the worst episode and the best episode of this season?
I can give you all my rankings in order if you want.
Okay, shoot.
From best to worst, USS Callister.
Infinity something.
Infinity, then we're talking the Rashida Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say the Lemmings one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Gaslighting one, Paul Giamatti. And then the movie Hotel Transylvania, whatever that was.
Yeah, same
How
thing.
about you, buddy?
Worst one, the hotel one, then Gaslighting one, then the Lemmings one, and then it probably goes USS Callister, Rashida Jones, then Paul Giamatti.
All right. Let us know whose is better.
Or let us know yours, too.
That, too.
Thanks for watching these highlights of our episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. If you want to listen to the full episode, check out the links in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe, and if you do that with your favorite YouTuber, I'm sure they would appreciate it, too. Thanks, and have a great day.